it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Oh, I can't speak this morning. It's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. We are still on our Advent series, and this is, excuse me, something in my throat. This is the little project I've put together for today, and this is one of my craft fair items. This contains 4 heroes, small and mighty heroes, apparently, which are, for those of you watching overseas, you may not be able to get them. I'm sorry, but they're just, these are heroes. So they're small versions of some of our sweets, candies, whatever you want to call them. I've put this together using our tiny treat boxes. These come in a pack of 16, and they are brilliant. You just literally peel there's this film, so when you get yours, if you think it's all creased, it's not, it's the film that's over it to keep it looking crystal clear until you get it. So let me pop that in the waste bin. And they're really easy to put together. They're pre-scored, so all you have to do is encourage the scores to actually happen. And in fact, I use these on my Halloween series, so you will, if you saw my Halloween series, you will know. And then that just flips in there. And the sides come in, and the lid comes down, and there we go. So that's the box. Now I like to put a base in my box, so this is just a piece of cherry cobbler which is cut at 2 by 2 inches. They are 2 by 2 boxes, so for those of you working in metric, they are 2 by 2 boxes, so if you want them to fit, I think you might have to embrace an inch for a wee while. So that's the box. These then just drop in, and I'm fairly comfortable that 4 is a good snug fit without being overloaded. And then you just tuck everything in. That would be a good start. I can't believe I'm putting cream eggs in, but there we go. Many of you know I don't do chocolate anyway, so these are all just, you know, bits of cellophane or glitzy wrapper as far as I'm concerned. I have no idea what I'm putting in there. And that is basically your box. Now I've made this so that you can hang it on your tree. Because I think it's quite nice to have tree gifts. So there we are, little tree gift with a little tag which you can write on the back. You could probably better write on the white than the cherry cobbler, but that's that. So I'm using the Merry Mistletoe stamp set and the Be Merry Designer Series paper, these are both in the annual catalogue. Please don't forget the annual catalogue. I've got chocolate everywhere. Please don't forget the annual catalogue Christmas items, because they're just as lovely as the autumn winter ones, and I think they may be a little unloved at the moment. So that's that. That's what I'm using. This is just a strip of the Designer Series paper cut at 1 3/4 inches, because then it gives a little wrap. And it's 9 inches long, because a box has 4 sides. It has 6 technically, but it's got 4 sides that we're covering, and therefore I need more than 8 inches. So I've gone for 9, because it then leaves me with 3 inches, which is quite a nice... I've got a stamp out somewhere. I've obviously prepared and, left it in the box I prepared for it. One little Christmas tree. So I've got a scrap, and I mean a scrap, of Whisper White and some cherry cobbler. So just ink that up. I think my cherry cobbler might need re-inking. It's been used quite a lot over the last few days, because we had one of my team member and I ran a Christmas card making class, mostly for novice stampers, and I have to say they, without exception, did brilliantly. We had very few issues. There were a couple that needed a little bit of assistance, but generally they took to it like ducks to water. So I think we might have some new stamping addicts, which will be jolly nice. So that's that. I am bringing out the 1 1/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch that as high. So I've got this as far down as possible, so the tree has got as much space at the top as possible. And that really is a scrap now. And then a piece of cherry cobbler and the 1 3/8 inch circle punch, and just punch that out. Flying cherry cobbler. So I don't need that, and I don't need that, so pop those away. I do need that, so let's not cover them up. Right, so that can be sort of setting, because as you have heard me say before, I like my ink to just settle. So let's put the box together. I put the designer series paper so that it's, I think of this as the front, so I'm going to want my designer series paper to be going up the way, because this is a directional paper, and so that I know that I've got a reasonable amount to overlap, because that will be where I'll put the glue on the back of that. I'm going to just pop that. Find my front again. Good grief. You'd think it was difficult. Just run this, holding the front, just run this round and just crease as you go. And then just get everything so that it's lined up nicely. I really only crease the two at the bottom, and then fast fuse, my friend fast fuse, gentle touch, flick at the end. I'm going to try and remember to keep saying that, so that those of you who I know are struggling with fast fuse and having a bit of a love-hate relationship, I'll try and get it into the subliminal for you. Right, there we go. So that is our box basically covered. Then all I need is some of the ribbon. Now this is actually the ribbon that goes with the quilted Christmas set, but when you put it with this paper, it actually kind of works. It's a very odd ribbon like that, because the quilted Christmas papers are real red and old olive, and it works brilliantly with those. And this is cherry cobbler and garden green, and it works fine with these as well. So all I'm doing is wrapping this round, leaving quite a long end, and you do actually want a longer end than you think you want, because it's a fairly thick ribbon, so you need to allow for a thicker knot. And this is where you need 3 pairs of hands, because you need to hold that taut, and you'll see I'm going around the box the other way, for no good reason other than I fancied doing it that way. And then I'll cut that off and pop it away. And I'm also going to need that. Right, before I do that, I'm actually going to punch my little hole. So all I'm doing is lining up my stamped image and my cherry cobbler so that they are like that. So you've got a nice edge. Then with my 1/8 of an inch handheld circle punch, I am just punching through both layers at once, and just be careful when you bring it up that the top layer doesn't pull, because it's so close to the edge. You don't want it to get damaged. And then just cut myself a length of Whisper White baker's twine, and I'll just make sure that the kinks are out of that. The old trick of grab your bone folder and just run your baker's twine through, and it helps. Normally it just helps to get rid of any really nasty kinks. And then just feed that through your hole, and if you're clever, unlike me, oh, there we go, you can get it through both at once. tie a knot. So you've got a loop, cut your end off, which also means you get a nice clean cut for your end. And then that, if I can get my loop, there we are, that then slips over there. And all you need to do is tie these two in a knot. And again, I'm just doing a thumb knot. And then just try and make sure that that is even before you tighten it off. And again, just trim your ends down a bit. Do them at a saucy angle maybe. And that's the basic box and tag done. And then I thought it just needed a little something something. So I have brought in, because I forgot I'd ordered them and haven't used them, the Season of Glitz mini bows. You get 45 of these, aren't they adorable? Tiny little bows, which are in white, a kind of old olive green. It's more of an old olive than a garden green. And this is more of a cherry cobbler than a real red. So perfect for this. And then just pop that on the front of your box. And you've got something really lovely to hang on your Christmas tree. And it's so quick and easy. We're at what, 11 minutes, which, bearing in mind I procrastinate for Britain, is not bad. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do hit the bottom right hand corner to subscribe, and then you can hit, there's a bell, you can hit the alert bell to make sure you get an alert when I've posted a new video. If you also want to make sure you get to see the blog posts that I put up, if you go over to my website, and there's a link to this post immediately below. If you, on a desktop, you go to my website, you'll see at the top right hand bar there is a subscribe by email. You have to go through a little bit of, you know, I'm not a robot stuff, which is really for your own security, and then you'll get an email when I post a new blog post. There is a delay. I've found it can take a few hours for that to come through, but at least you then get to know about it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you again very soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!